Yes. Let's call this pre-council to order. Council members have a chance to look over the minutes, and so is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And minutes approved. Okay, Mr. Mills, start with you today.
All right, good afternoon, Mayor and Council. We have 3 applications today. The first one is for Black Warrior Burgers LLC. It was tabled last meeting, DBA Grandstand. They're applying for a lounge retail liquor license going into Old Will Hagen's. My second application is for Racked Up LLC, DBA Crew Lounge. They're going at 6571 Highway 69 South, Suite A. They're applying for a lounge retail liquor. It's the old Lucy's restaurant that they're going in. And
So is that restaurant not there anymore?
no, Lucy's in Alberta now.
Oh, yeah, okay, I was thinking Alberta.
Yes, sir. And,
Tom,
sir.
the first one,
Yes, sir.
the Will Hagen's,
Mhm.
is that the same group that came before and then withdrew and they're coming back?
We originally got approved for a restaurant retail liquor, and now they're applying for a lounge liquor license now.
This is what the chief is asking us to table. You see, we have what is that again, Tony? It's
This, you have a condition?
because I think Chief Blankley had asked if is that the one, Brandy?
So the conditional use hearing is gonna be under unfinished business, and then the alcohol license is under public hearings, is that right?
That's
Yes.
correct.
Yeah,
Well, actually,
and Chief is,
Or
the other way around, yes.
Other way around.
Alcohol is on the unfinished business, conditional use is on the public hearing.
okay, and the chief had asked if we would table that for a week?
A week.
Yeah,
All right,
because he wanted to be here.
okay. All right, and my third application tonight is going to be Kirtland's Incorporated, DBA Rhythm and Brews, 2310 4th Street. They're applying for the lounge retail liquor license.
Okay. All right, any questions for Mr. Mills?
Can I ask, I'm sorry.
Sure,
back to
go
the-
ahead.
Just one other question.
Yes, sir.
Are there different parameters being brought to us by the bar and Will Hagen's than what we talked about originally?
So originally it was a restaurant license, and a restaurant retail,
You said that.
yes.
Sorry.
Okay, all right.
But
Trying to
I'm
get back and thinking
confused. I'm
mode.
confused about what will they be able to do now?
What,
You're gonna explain.
It was a gastropub, wasn't it?
they came as a special condition,
Gastropub.
they came as a special condition for a gastropub. That was denied by council. They came back to look at occupancy change, but before that came to council for consideration, they asked that it be withdrawn. So now they've come back and asked for the lounge license.
So basically, they want more occupancy?
Now, I'll explain here in just a
Okay,
second.
okay.
Sorry, I'm gonna get back up to speed shortly.
Are you fine?
Yeah,
Quick?
is that all?
Yes, sir.
Sorry about that.
Thank you,
Hey,
Tony.
before we leave this topic,
Yeah.
Mr. Holmes, you sent out an email a couple of days ago on the expansion of business on the patio of, I forget, it's over in Parkview in my district.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You want to walk us through that?
Yes, sir. The way staff had considered this is not an expansion, and it's not what we have discussed previously when we presented the expansion to y'all. What we considered in those expansions were, for instance, you approved the expansion of Rhythm and Brews last week, where somebody acquires additional property next door and moves into it. Or if someone does something, maybe builds an addition to their building to increase their occupancy. What the establishment at Parkview is doing is there's actually a patio area on their property. The ABC requires that that be approved by the city. The way we have always handled that is through, they come to Tony, I believe, then we get the council president to sign off on it. It doesn't, it's not expanding their property, it's not increasing the occupancy. It's actually, if it were downtown on a sidewalk, then they would just get a sidewalk cafe permit, and it wouldn't come to council that way either. But since it's not on our property, there's no other mechanism of approval. So ABC wants us to sign off on, hey, they can cordon off that area and use it.
Okay, I think that, I believe, Antonio, was you, I was briefed that it required a letter from the councilman of the district it was located in.
So what it did, previously we've done it, we've like the council president to sign a letter, but since it was in your district, I asked them to send a letter to you as a courtesy to let you know what was going on for your signature as well.
You asked who to send a letter to, him or the
No,
borough?
not him. I had to talk to the city clerk office, and we got together a letter to send to the council president and to yourself as well.
Okay, I'm not sure I understand, but again, I don't have an objection to
Sure.
that, but I would be mindful that given the sensitivity of expansions, and if you don't, Marshall Steins, does their capacity expand with the opening of that patio?
It depends, you know, if they have to egress through that, if the indoor patrons have to egress through the patio, depending on the arrangement, it could affect the capacity slightly depending on that. I don't know what the layout actually looks like, or if they have to, if the indoor patrons actually have to egress through that area, then it would be a cumulative occupancy, so in that case.
But they haven't requested an expansion of their occupancy.
No, not to my knowledge,
And so it's not expanded?
no.
Okay. Again, just maintaining that uber sensitivity right now
Yes, sir.
to capacity and occupancy. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Mills? Thank you, sir. Okay, Zach.
Okay, so first up, we have tentative approval for South Shore, which is a planned unit development across from Pinnacle Park. So just south of the Townsend North River, just north of Rock Quarry, as you can see on the map here. It's currently outside the city limits. You guys had annexed, well, it's not currently, because you guys had annexed in the city. And in order to go through the PUD process, they have to be within the city limits. And so now they are. And now they are going through that PUD process to allow for a 6-lot, single-family residential plan unit development. This is Trick Construction. Aaron Sincroft is, I believe he might have reached out to you, Mr. Crow, regarding this. They will have 2 off-street parking areas per lot. They will have sidewalks and open space and HOA. The homes are ranging from approximately 1,500 to 5,000. As you'll see here, there's a pretty significant difference in one of the houses, and then 400,000 to $1 million is the price range. So you can see this is the layout of the lot. You've got the open space there, like kind of at that intersection, which will have a gazebo. You've got 5 smaller lots in comparison to the larger lot, which is closer to the lake. That's probably going to be your $1 million home, I would assume. These are the elevations for each of the homes, and then just that gazebo, which they're going to mimic the Townsend North River gazebo. This was unanimously recommended for approval in April by Planning Commission.
Okay.
And then next up we have, this is what you guys were just talking about, Grandstand. So Grandstand is, they're requesting the table for 1 week, so we will table it, but just a history on this, as you guys have clearly asked. They are a restaurant with an attached bar currently. They came forward as to get approval for a gastropub at an occupancy of 375, which is what their occupancy limit is currently, which was denied by you guys because of such a large occupancy. There was some concerns there from Chief, and after that, they then have been operating for a while, but they also wanted to come in and maybe reduce that occupancy to 200 as the limit, but be a gastropub. They decided to pull that request, so that's why y'all never really heard that one. I think it might have got introduced but was withdrawn. And then now they are coming back in a week to request to be a bar. So not a gastropub, to be a bar.
With the 200 capacity?
So initially, this request currently that's being tabled was at the 375. However, Mr. Raji is here and we've spoken with him and we're gonna get together with Chief. He's open to actually possibly going back to that 200 occupancy and opening up that dialogue. So we're gonna kind of talk about it a little bit more before getting it to y'all next week, and we'll update y'all on what that looks like.
Okay, and a bar is permitted there, right?
It with y'all's approval, yes, sir.
It's not,
As a
it's
conditional.
not preclude, it's not,
No, the zoning allows it through a conditional use, yes, sir. So we won't go through all that, because you guys are familiar. And then this is Crew Lounge, so this is that other alcohol license y'all were gonna look at today. So this is a hookah bar down 69 South. I believe Lucy's, was that the previous restaurant in that shopping center? So they are requesting to be a hookah bar with limit of 21 and up, and they would also offer food, so they'll have a kitchen. 68 is their occupancy. It was their occupancy previously, I believe, and that is not changing with this new use per fire. They are going to be open for hours of operation 12 to 2 a.m. on Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 6 to 2 a.m. And they will also be serving food during those times. So it'll basically be a hookah bar with food and alcohol, and 21 and up. That's essentially what they're asking for.
Chief Blankley spoke to me about this. Did you have a comment on that?
Right now, just from a public safety aspect, from what we look at as a whole, we don't feel like we can sustain an additional bringing some folks in for just another club. We're at a point now, public safety wise. Now, when we have closing times, the area of Skylands already has been a problem with crowds leaving the bars. This one's going to be down 69 South a little bit, I know, but the crowds leaving out. We've had businesses call us about, we're having to close our doors because we got 80 people just showed up in our parking lot, and we're spending up to an hour plus on some of these nights to.
Is that Patriot Shopping, Patriot?
The
Parkway?
Hillcrest Center.
Hillcrest Center.
Just from previous experience, the last lounge license that was in that location didn't turn out very well. I know that's been probably 20 years ago, but that was New Orleans flavor in the corner over there. That didn't turn out real well. That parking lot, to me, after riding around it and looking at it, and from previous history there's some safety concerns about where folks can group up out of sight. And honestly now, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we're pulling our officer corps out of the neighborhoods and off of businesses to basically chase down entertainment disturbances and problems that go on for the majority of the morning.
So we don't have people to keep an eye.
We won't be able to monitor it. I mean, not. So. And it's not just this particular location, but just overall, the late night entertainment industry. It's at a breaking point with us as far as being able to provide a level of security for the community at large that we really feel comfortable with. I just don't.
Chief Blankley and I talked about it, and I want to echo Chief Clark. I know this feels like a redundant message that I'm delivering every council recently. We are forced depleted, and I am very worried we're stretching our police department way too thin on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. It's being used against us in recruiting, and the more establishments, wherever we add and expand, we're becoming a de facto security company for them, and it's taking its toll. So I hope you will keep that in your calculus as you hear this. It's nothing against I know nothing against the bar owner, nothing.
do we need to adopt as we get on mega developments, do we need to adopt a moratorium on any additional places? Because I would actually prefer a blanket policy. It gets tricky dealing with this one, that one, not this one because it's more, but okay, this one even. That's the problem that I foresee here.
And I say this every time, but we don't have any police presence in my district. And it's not your fault, but we just don't have it.
Well, yeah, I had a neighborhood meeting in East Park, last night, and SIBO was saying just that same thing, like, they're gonna start having, it's basically Holt, but it's residential neighborhoods that are not getting the attention that even SIBO said that they need. And he's gonna make sure they get it now, but part of it, the complaints from the neighbors that were there, and it was a nice crowd too, was that we're putting our resources on the strip and not being seen out on Crescent Ridge Road, for example.
And
And
that's
that's
a
the perception,
legitimate-
that's the
It's
perception.
not actually perception, it's reality.
It is reality, yeah,
It's a legitimate complaint,
yeah.
folks.
And then when,
You don't have
and
it.
so, because they, yeah.
Norman, I did point it out.
I do think at some point, maybe use Ms. Howard's committee, I think there needs to be a fuller discussion about this. Our city has grown tremendously. Our growth is also matching a time where less and less people want to be police officers. This is a nationwide phenomenon. And and again, I know, I said it just a few seconds ago, but our competition in the county in Northport, we've tackled pay, we've tackled take-home cars, we're gonna be tackling RSA, but the one thing we can't tackle is the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. On top of it, used to be just game days, but now it's just, y'all see the significant reports. I'm very concerned we're stretching our people really, really thin, and it may be, I don't know how that looks, I don't know what powers we have legally in that realm, but I think it warrants at least a discussion to put ideas on the table. It never hurts to discuss.
Well, I know I get calls every weekend about speeding on Harlow Road East, 15th Street East, wanting me to have somebody, put the police out there. And I basically tell them, there's not any police to put out there.
We've tried to become as efficient as we can with the manpower that we have on the
Understand.
targeting things as well as we can. But as far as the old days of being able to say, hey, we got a traffic complaint in this area, and a car go out there and sit for a couple hours, it's not a service that we can provide anymore, regretfully. I think it's a service that there's definitely some areas in town that they need that type of service, and we just, those are some of the services we just don't have the manpower or the time to do based on call volume work.
The way municipal government finance should work theoretically, and again, this is, I can't give you exact numbers, but residential usually costs a 1-to-4 ratio. So whatever taxes are generated, you're getting 4 times the amount of service. Inversely though, commercial is supposed to be the 4-to-1 benefit. You're getting 4 times the services of the taxes that you're paying, and that's why commercial has always been seen as paying the bills. If you just isolated how many bars we have in Tuscaloosa, 30, not restaurant bars.
More than 30.
Well, no, not restaurant bars,
This
just,
is in Lee Street.
Yeah, that's in my district.
yeah. I think it was 29 bars during COVID with just liquor licenses.
Really?
But then let's add another 15 or 20, let's say, that are restaurant bars that form into that. Let's say you're dealing with a population of 50 total. I would think at this point, the services that we're providing on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night to the entire population, and I know that's not all equal, would either meet or exceed the taxes being gained from that. And then that doesn't even put in the calculus when we have issues up at Sky Ridge, or when we have issues in Alica Place, or
Snow Hill
Juanita
Park.
Drive, Snow Hill Park, wherever it may
Crescent
be.
East, that was what the main topic was last night.
So I think Ms. Howard, not to put you on the spot, but I think we need to have a further discussion of this, because we have grown tremendously as a city, which is a good thing. But we're struggling to maintain a police force with the number of vacancies. So I didn't mean to hijack this, Mr.
No,
President.
no, because it was, like I said, that's what the meeting we had at the Maccabee Center last night with the neighborhood, and SIBO put it out really well, that, we got to get back to doing what we can with what we have, and spend more of the resources in the neighborhoods that are having the problems and the constant
So,
trouble.
do we have enough time to like, see what a moratorium could look like so that we could, because, I mean, if this is, the recommendation, then I would like to make sure that we're following the recommendation. And I know that we are, but I just feel like, you know, it would help if we just had one blanket, way to determine whether it's something we should do. And then the community would also know that too automatically.
I agree.
I
would
hope
like
the
to
city
see
attorney
that.
will
We need to.
provide us that
we have
guidance,
guidance.
but
You're
I
chair
don't
of
like
public
being in the
safety.
business of picking and choosing.
No.
They
Yeah.
can, they can't. Let's, either it's on or it's off. It's what
Can we
I-
have it on the next public safety?
I mean, if,
I have a couple ideas. I've asked, actually, since we've been sitting here, my staff to start researching it. I know there is a public safety committee on the 27th. If that's time-wise works for y'all, we can
Yeah.
have you some good ideas.
If it's all right with.
yeah, I'm cool with it.
You gotta start somewhere.
So, okay, yeah, so is this for a vote tonight or just introduction?
This is for a vote tonight.
I think we might want to table it.
I would like to say.
Excuse me, we
Yes.
got people. I'm very sorry to interrupt. I'm Brad McGivney. I'm representing my clients with Bradcott LLC. And y'all are, I understand your position. I fully appreciate the police and what all they do. Could I have just a moment to speak about a couple of your concerns about this particular location?
Sure. Yeah, go
Well,
ahead.
wouldn't the hearing tonight be
Yeah,
the
that-
appropriate place for that?
You're gonna be here tonight before the vote. I mean,
Yes, sir.
well, I think we're gonna table, we're not gonna vote tonight, I feel sure.
But we will give him a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just to let everybody know, I've got one of the members here, Andrea Campbell, and her and the other members are all in law enforcement and have been, I think Andrea's been in it for 14 years. So she completely understands and wants to follow the law and make sure that there aren't any issues. As it relates to security and the police, they intend to have somebody working the door at all times, as well as to have security inside. And on Fridays and Saturdays, intend to hire additional security and/or off-duty police officers to work the parking area. And I say that as security so it's not that we're gonna try to put an additional strain on police, but if that's available, then they will do that. If not, then they will go and hire additional outside security. The other issue is, this has been presented as a lounge for one reason, because we're trying to follow the rules with the ABC. In order to be a restaurant, you have to show that you have at least 51% of food sales. We think that we're going to have that, but out of an abundance of caution, we've decided to move to a lounge license in the event that it doesn't reach that 51% every month. So we're gonna, and this isn't just a cheeseburger or wings, that kind of thing. This is lamb chops, this is high-end food that they spend. It's my understanding, a couple of other locations spend about 50% more on food than they do on alcohol. So this is not intended to be a lounge per se. This is intended to be a restaurant that serves alcohol. And, but just out of an abundance of caution, making sure we follow the rules, we are applying for this as a lounge license. And I will say this, one last thing, that we're also going to be a part of the responsible vendor program. Andrea's already taken the class, and we're going to be, and all the other owners and the employees will be doing the same thing. So they are doing, I believe, above and beyond of what they should be on trying to make sure that this is not your typical lounge where it's going to put additional problems on the police department.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right, and we got one more item for you guys. This is for introduction, but can be adopted following unanimous, or by unanimous consent following introduction. This is a 80.5 acre annexation located on Old Colony Roads. This is across from, I think it's Crimson Care or Crimson. It's that new facility off of Old Colony. A pretty large piece of property there, right behind North Ridge. Currently vacant today. They want to come in
Can
with.
you put that back up?
Yes,
just a
sir.
second?
Oh, is that what it's called?
Where is this?
It's not Crimson, it's something else.
Yeah.
Crimson Crossing? Oh, just Crossing.
Crossing.
Sorry,
That's
everything's
now
crimson.
District 30.
Crimson Crossings.
Where is this, Norman?
So,
Oh, going up Old Colony toward Publix, like Publix is there to your right.
That's
in
coming
between
back.
like
That's a
Sokol Park.
memory.
Because there's your,
It's a memory assisted living.
That's-
place.
Yes, sir.
that's the middle school up there.
Yep.
Is that
So
what-
the,
oh, sorry.
Buddy Powell Pavilion, you turn right, like you're going to Publix, it's property across the street that's been developed.
What's the plan?
So,
Where that assisted living is.
yeah, I'll keep going with the
Near
plan.
the
Sorry,
Busby Memorial Park up there.
the plan, I don't recall exactly what the amount of homes was, but
A little over 100.
yeah, and there's some townhomes mixed in, I think 24 townhomes. There's a open space kind of greenway in between. They are actually planning on putting a light in as well,
Yeah, there will be a light on that road.
where the intersection is, that is directly across from that assisted living facility. There's some two commercial lots directly on Old Colony. And then they're gonna have some stub streets to the south for future development for that property as well.
Quick question, I saw this the other day, and it just reminded me to ask the question. What do our regulations say about width of sidewalk?
So, yes, I believe we would require a 4-foot sidewalk typically. However, when working with the applicants on their design, they were open to an 8-foot shared multi-use path to mimic kind of what's already there on North Ridge Road.
Okay, because on the other side where
So that's like a 4-foot.
yeah,
It's tiny. I
almost first time I saw it, I thought it was a drainage
agree.
basin.
Yeah,
It
and
didn't go very far either, Walt.
Yeah, I noticed that, so
so yeah,
Well, when
I
it's
agree.
gold.
And that was one of our concerns too, was, you've got this path on North Ridge, and they were open to actually, there's some kind of wetlands issues and like a drainage ditch over there on the east side. They're not gonna extend that kind of part of the PUD approval, was they weren't gonna extend all the way to the end of their property line. They were gonna actually extend on to the adjacent, I believe that's the Mental Health Board's property, all the way to that intersection with a shared use path, 8 feet wide.
They
To
agreed
then,
do that, though, right?
yes, yeah, they'll have to work
Then
with
you
the.
can cross the
Well, it
light
would
to
be,
get on the path.
it would be in the right of way, so they would be developing that. And then
I want to make sure I heard you correctly.
Yes,
They're
sir.
going to carry it all the way up to North Ridge and Old Colony?
they're gonna carry it all the way up to North Ridge and Old Colony, yes, sir.
And then you'll go across the
And-
light to
yep.
get on the Pettis Randall, that little place right there.
I think anywhere in our city, we have new development and we have opportunities because you put down sidewalks, pedestrian way. Wherever we can work to get a minimum of 6 feet, if not 8 feet, is.
Yeah.
Big deal.
I
It's
agree.
a big deal.
I agree.
It's-
Yeah, we're going through that code update process currently, so this is a good opportunity to
Help those kids
bring
get
that
to
up.
school,
I didn't mean to
too.
put you on the
Because a
spot.
lot of
No,
kids
no.
are gonna walk. to
Shared
school.
path.
Yeah.
How wide are yours out from the Piggly Wiggly going?
They're gonna be, well, it's gonna be shared path on one side, and, which is 8, I think, or 10. Then on the side of Big Wiggly, it's gonna be on the sidewalk.
I believe 8 feet.
Gold-plated?
They are gold
Yeah,
plated,
that's what they're-
yeah.
8 feet, I think, is the minimum to where you can have multi-use. So essentially, 8 feet is the
$5
minimum
million
where you can
in
actually
my
buy.
district
stuff
money's
on-
out there, I
on
hope
that.
it's good.
My gosh, it ought to be on Kip Turner Way.
Dude, we demand gold, but
Cheers.
I'm assuming no more
Unanimously
questions.
recommended by the PCC.
you don't ask, you don't get. Okay, all righty. Is everybody good with, Zach? All right, Mayor Maddox.
Yes, sir. I know we're behind a little bit. I'll try to move quickly. First, I want to recognize Chris Meggs, our new Executive Director of Environmental Services. I know I saw him in here earlier.
Chris knocked the interview out of the park. And I was, whoever's idea it was, Mayor, I'll give you credit for it, having some of those employees in here for the interview, that was wonderful. We need to maybe think about that in the future.
We did that with the police chief, and now we've done that with the ESD, and it's, both times have worked out very, very well. I appreciate you being part of it.
Well, one thing I was really impressed when we went to introduce Chris to the workers, it was great to say it was unanimous, but I also had three ESD workers that followed me to the door and just said that we all want you to know how happy we are that he was selected. So that makes you feel good.
And I know you've spent a lot of time, Mr. Reiner, recently on this as well, so I'm excited about what he's gonna bring. We're trying not to inundate him with information right now, because we want him to get to know the operations, build a rapport with our men and women there who work hard every day, and then we'll build up from there. But I'm excited about what he's gonna bring, and y'all know Chris, so if you need anything from him, please reach out to him. The second is, we're releasing the majority of our town hall schedule for the summer and fall. I think we've got a slide, or we'll have one, there it is, that we'll have up tonight as well. The first one, we had so much fun at Jack's last year with Mr. Fail, we're going back. That'll be at 7 a.m. to 9:30. That's an early risers. You can get the coffee and biscuit crowd there. Live at the Plaza at 5:30 p.m. Saturday, July 22nd in Mr. Crow's district, 8 a.m. Monday, August 28th at 5:30 p.m. in Catch Taste in Mr. Tyner's district. We're finalizing with the school system, Mr. Lanier and Ms. Howard on Skyline and TCTA. So once we have those times and dates, we will get that to you. They're all come and go events. That just gives people a chance to come in. That's what's been successful over the years. And so we'll be there to answer any questions that you may have. And that's all I have, Mr. President. We will have two items for executive session. One of them may take a little bit of time, so
Okay.
I want to go get those.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Portia.
They don't want to come with me, but I'm making them come.
And make them introduce themselves.
Oh, good idea. Good afternoon, council and mayor.
Good afternoon.
I have two big things that I want to announce today. First of all, your 311 team is Sweet 16 today. It's our 16th birthday. So we have been celebrating all day. I brought birthday hats for the team, but they won't wear them. And when Scott came to see us earlier, I had mine on and I forgot. And when I realized I had it on after he left, I was like, I'm sure he thinks. He doesn't know what's going on here, but I just wanted to just love on them publicly. I have such a great team. You all know that I'm new, so I'm still adjusting, and they have made it so seamless for me. Jennifer has been here since the beginning. I'll let her introduce herself like Mayor suggested.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Simmons, and like Portia said, I have been here since May of 2007 when 311 was introduced, and we've heard nothing but good things with the mayor's idea.
And then we have Michelle.
I'm Michelle. I've been here for 13 years in February.
Thank you.
And Michelle was recently reclassified as a senior call taker, as well as Will. He's on vacation this week though, so he's playing hooky a little bit. But so I have 4 seniors now, and I just wanted to take a moment to just say out loud how wonderful they are and to acknowledge them on today. I try to do this as often as I can, but it hits a little different today because it's our birthday. So I just want to encourage everyone to just pop by if you can, say hi to everyone today. Mayor's already been by. Thank you for coming. And yeah, they're great, and I just wanted to say it out loud to everybody. So thank y'all.
We have two. Latoya as well as an original
Yes.
member as well. So
And that makes a big difference, because I mean, I'll be talked to these two so hundreds of times.
she told me, Portia told me this morning, code enforcement, ESD, and animal control. That's what we're getting. That's the leading calls recently.
Yep, that's true. Hey, Brandy.
Hi.
You're up.
Good, how are y'all? All right, so
keeping me on track.
I'm trying. So we have two board appointments that we need to discuss today. The first one is gonna be Historic Preservation Commission. We have Dr. David Nelson, whose term expired back on May 31st. He is requested to be reappointed. He was initially appointed back in 2009. Keep in mind, HBC members are mayor nominated and council appointed. He has been serving very well. The team wishes to have him reappointed, so if it's okay with you guys, we'll have that ordinance on next week.
I would highly endorse that. He has been a diligent, intelligent.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that sounds good. And then the next one is community service programs. If you guys go back with me a couple weeks, we discussed one recommendation that they had at the time. They have since then requested to withdraw their recommendation and have someone else for you guys to consider. If you take a look in front of you, you'll have a resume for Dr. Marion Rosenzweig. And you got a brief little information about her history. The board would like to move forward with her because of her advanced knowledge of all of the mental health systems throughout Alabama. They think that she would be a very helpful member to the board if that's okay with you all.
I can't imagine having a
Well, you know,
resume like that.
I was kind of hoping that we could open it up for 2 weeks for anybody that'd be interested in working in community service programs to apply. That's what we've done in the past. And I know directors, I just have a problem when one name is being sent because there's so many people. And nothing against Miss Rosenzweig, she's wonderful. I've known her for many, many years, but I think it's only right to give others an opportunity at least.
I'm good with that. I'll probably vote for, I plan to vote for Mary Ann, but let's
Yeah.
put it out there and see what comes in.
Is that okay with y'all?
Shelley.
They're okay? Or if y'all want to just go with her?
I mean.
I'm happy with her, but I'm okay.
I'm cool with her, so.
I'm cool with it.
Okay,
I
well,
mean,
let's
she has
just,
an impressive resume, so I mean, she'll probably, I'm in favor of her, but if you wanna open it up, I can go with that too.
Work with husband on cases.
yeah. I mean, they're both wonderful people. I'm just saying that, sometimes just one name I'd like to see more.
Okay.
But
If you wanna open it up.
we'll just go with her then.
You don't wanna open it up?
Do we need a motion?
No.
No,
Okay.
All that's happening, it might be good to move on.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going with Dr. Rosenzweig?
We've had a lot of issues with this one.
Well,
It's been a bumpy ride.
well,
A very bumpy ride.
well, and it was not being talked about for a reason. Okay.
So we'll have that ordinance on the agenda next week.
I learned some stuff, Raven, I learned some stuff I didn't know.
Yeah, so I'm cool with it.
I like you.
Handled yourself very
All
well.
right. All right, okay, Scott.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, council.
Good afternoon.
As Mayor said, we do have a couple of items for executive session, so I will try to move through this pretty swiftly. I am down towards the bottom of your page number 2, where on page 21, you'll be authorizing professional services contract with Unity Fiber. This is a total of $22,380 a year, and this is a 5-year contract term. It was discussed in projects on the 23rd.
How do you pronounce that?
I believe it is Unity.
I was asking Mr.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Crow.
Mr. Crowe,
As long as it's not Efiqua, I'm
whatever, I'm not
fine.
saying a word, I can't pronounce that.
Unity. Yeah.
On page 22, you'll be authorizing a professional services contract with Vetro Inc. That's a total not to exceed $14,500. And again, it was discussed in projects on the 23rd. On page 23, you'll be authorizing professional services contract with Central Square Technologies, DBA Tritech Software Solutions. This is a year 1 not to exceed $42,161.80. Year 2 not to exceed $44,269.89. Year 3 not to exceed $46,483.40. And again, was discussed in projects on the 23rd. On page 24, you'll be authorizing a professional services contract with Ward Scott Morris Architecture for design services for the Lake Nickel restroom replacements. This is a total not to exceed $47,020. It was discussed in projects on the 23rd. On page 25, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with L&D Moore Contracting. This is a total of $18,500. It was discussed in projects on the 23rd. On page 26, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with Tri-State Abatement, Inc. This is a total not to exceed $3,900, and again was discussed in projects on the 23rd. On page 27, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute a special municipal agency funding contract with Temporary Emergency Services. This is a total not to exceed $100,000. It is doubled up and will be discussed in projects today. On page 28, you'll be authorizing the purchase of equipment from Budco, Inc. This is a total of $12,450 and comes from purchasing. On page 29, you'll be rejecting all bids for an enclosed fiber splicing trailer. This again comes from purchasing. On page 30, you'll be authorizing AT&T Mobility permission to file an airspace safety review and file for an FAA determination location at 601 29th Street. This is the 29th Street Water Tower. This will be doubled up as on projects. This is the one that has been on projects a couple weeks. I have requested that we table it. As we discussed last time, we're going to go ahead and go forward with it today and also have it doubled up. We think we're getting some of the movement we're looking for. On page 31, you'll be authorizing a contract with Blazing Fire and Water and declaring a bid law exemption pursuant to Alabama Code 41-1651A-15. This comes from Tuscaloosa Fire Rescue. On page 32, you'll be amending section number 21-83B of the Code of Tuscaloosa. This is the tow regulation changes we discussed in public safety last month. And on pages 33 through 34, you'll be adopting a sales tax holiday for certain covered items for 2023. This comes from Finance on the 23rd. Are there any questions for me?
Any questions for Scott?
What does Blazing Fire and Water do, Chief?
It's a topic we discussed in executive session.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It ain't fire and water, right?
Thank you, Scott.
Yes, sir.
We got projects, finance, admin, no properties. I did speak with Chief Wilson. Before pre-council, I asked him if they made him chief yet. He said that they wanted to. He's in Ghana right now. He's getting ready. He was on a bus going to get ready to spend the night and be on a safari tomorrow. So.
Oh, God, why did we not plant a camera somewhere in his backpack?
Facebook, just go to Facebook.
Yeah.
Mr. President, we're still maybe thinking about putting a diplomatic outpost.
Yeah, I think we should have a diplomatic.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, posted, and we can make it permanent.
What committee does that have to go through? Since I know Matthew is listening.
Oh, yeah, he on it. He on it.
Does that go through finance or projects?
I think
I can get the votes.
I think that's a big project, so I think it needs to go through projects. Yes, sir.
I think we should talk about that. We'll look at that in
Let's
detail.
move on, let's move on.
But the chief is having a great time.
He will hear that, and it's said, of course, out of love.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, it's said out of love.
And with that, don't forget we got the capital projects work session Thursday,
Do they have text in Ghana?
1:15. Yeah, he's texting me a lot. So.
What's that?
Definitely.
Probably what's that?
Scary enough.
Yeah.
Definitely. He forgets the time difference.
Internet,
Yeah.
So-
he's been using it.
Is there a motion we go into executive session?
I'll make a motion.
A second.
Okay, Mr. Holmes?
Yes, sir. As your city attorney and attorney licensed to practice law in the state of Alabama, I can certify that these topics for executive session are appropriate as to discuss the consideration the governmental body is willing to offer or accept when considering the purchase, sale, exchange, lease, or market value of real property, as well as to discuss preliminary negotiations involving matters of trade or commerce in which the governmental body is in competition with private individuals or entities or other governmental bodies, and that the discussions would have a detrimental effect upon the competitive position of the party.
Okay, have a motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? If you're